Welcome back. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Just wanted to check to make sure that the audio is good. Checking audio with Alex, and just want to make sure that we're good, that everybody can hear me. So it is now back to about half an hour left in the event. We have had some great networking. I've been on the networking area, I've been to the sessions. We had some great speakers with Wahida and just recently on unemployment laws. That was very good. Marty Britton also, and I had a segment on information to do with the state of the Canadian labor market. So I'm getting the thumbs up from Alex that everything's good. So we'll go ahead and start. So I am excited. We're running a panel here. We have a couple of great recruiters on here, and I'm curious to hear their stories. So clockwise on my screen is Ricardo Earle, research analyst, talent acquisition at Hudson's Bay. And Ricardo, why don't you talk a little bit about what you do, and a little bit about your role at Hudson's Bay as well.
Sure. Thanks for having me again on, Marc. And so I work for Hudson's Bay as a recruitment analyst, research analyst. But I also, I'm kind of, you could say a Swiss Army knife in regards to the talent acquisition division that we have. I do handle recruitment from store to corporate levels, but as well as I handle a lot of the data in regards to finding the different marketplaces in regards to where we can find good candidates in areas that we probably couldn't reach. I look at the metric numbers in regards to fill ratios, in regards to how long it takes to fill a requisition that we have, as well as supporting any other recruiters in regards to finding candidates for them, if they need help on the dime. I pretty much do a little bit of everything in regards to talent acquisition, and that's what I do.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for being on. I know we've been on for a couple of panels, and every time I learn something new from you in terms of what's happened. So great stuff, Ricardo. And James Adams is Chief Talent Officer at Adams Limitless. James, why don't you talk a little bit about your organization, and thanks for being on here as well.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Marc. I appreciate it. Ricardo, sounds like I definitely need to hire a guy like you. Need to get into those metrics and those numbers for sure. But no, grateful to be on. So I actually run my own recruitment agency here across predominantly the GTA, specializing in identifying, securing talent for the real estate and construction industry. So this has been an incredible business I've been able to take on, which I almost like to say is recession proof. And now we can almost say is COVID proof, because of the fact that we've been able to be strong through these times, and run this recruitment agency, working with a lot of real estate developers, builders, GCs across the GTA, running an Unlimited Potentials podcast, as well as going to be launching an online course to help recruiters launch and build their own recruitment agency from home. Excellent.
Well, great to have you on, and lots to talk about for sure. And we're getting Deena Stevenson coming on here. Deena, good?
Hi.
We got a little bit of still an echo, but good. Thanks very much, Deena. Deena Stevenson is talent acquisition at the entire corporation, right, Deena?
Yes.
Perfect. So you missed the part. Talk a little bit about. That's great that you're muting just when we're talking. So. Perhaps you can talk a little bit about what you do at Canadian Tire, a little bit about what's been happening in your world as well, and thanks for being on.
Thank you. Sorry about the technical issues on my end, I guess. I'm the manager of corporate talent acquisition for Canadian Tire. So my team handles all of the recruitment for Canadian Tire and our banner group of companies, which includes Sport Chek, Marc's, Party City Canada. So we actually handle all corporate positions, and we do have a separate team that handles all of the retail positions for those banners.
Perfect. So we got a great panel because we've got Dina doing corporate roles. We've got Ricardo, who does the analysis, and James, who dealing with clients and recruitment. So we've got a good mix of people on here. If you have any questions for anybody on the panel, feel free to post them in either in the event chat or in the stage chat, and I can moderate them as well. So let's go back, Ricardo, and talk about how COVID has impacted maybe some of the research that you've been doing and the numbers, and any trends that you're seeing perhaps from last March to today in terms of people applying, numbers, any kind of analysis that you've been looking at?
Well, yeah. So pretty much because we're in the retail industry, as I'm sure Dina knows, that we had to deal with lockdowns. So when lockdowns occur, we get impacted in our retail level. So pretty much a lot of our stores had to be shut down based on like the protocols of our government. So in regards to store recruitment, it was kind of been a slow slog over the last few months. It's just now, thankfully, certain provinces and now, including Ontario, now are starting to lift up some of the restrictions. So we're starting to now begin recruiting back in the stores, more management level, store associate level, because there's a lot of store associates that we've had that were laid off, unfortunately, during this time, that have moved on to other things. So we have to start over again. On the corporate level of things as well, the market has been more opened based on how a lot of people have been impacted due to COVID. So we were able to get a little bit more of a larger pool of candidates, but we probably maybe haven't had a chance to, based on them working in a job that they may be been comfortable in. So so we've seen a lot more traction in regards to available candidates that we can see that are more available. And then we also know now, based on the fact that remote work is something that's viable for us, that you don't necessarily have to be in an office anymore. And that's a lesson that I'm sure we all have learned now. So we can now recruit outside of areas that maybe we rather prefer people closer to our head offices, now that we can now go outside of areas and now maybe potentially see candidates that are in areas and remote areas that we probably haven't seen before. So it's more of like the reach that we've now more opened up to, and candidates are basically looking for newer, more open opportunities now, especially now because since we know there's a lot of companies that are not pandemic proof compared to the ones that are pandemic proof, and it's just so people are now weighing things more in regards to what their futures are compared to what they were previously before these lockdowns and before the economic changes. So so I see now a lot more robust type of like candidates being available, and as well as candidates that are currently working and now are searching for other opportunities. So it's basically been a bonus for us, unfortunately, for people that are now looking for work, but it's now gives us more of a better opportunity to reach these people and to reach areas that we probably haven't before. So if things have been going well in regards to the recruitment aspect of what we're doing, and like we're making pipelines because we know that things are going to really be more upcoming, especially with the things that are with the lockdowns being more like less restrictive. So so things have been gotten really busy now, and now we're putting initiatives as well, this in regards to trying to attract more candidates to our brand. And we've been doing a lot of rebranding, and I'm not sure if you know that we've introduced a new online marketplace in regards to our services now. So we want to rival in regards to the pandemic Amazons and pandemic Walmarts in regards to having vendors that maybe we probably wouldn't have considered before, now part of underneath our umbrella, to have that open opportunity to sell their products through our services. So so we opened up a lot more and ideas, and we did have these plans before, but now we really are pushing them now, because we know that these are the opportunities that we have based on the situation that we're currently experiencing.
Excellent. Well, great information. If you're just joining, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. On the panel, James Adams, Chief Talent Officer at Adams Limitless. Deena Stevenson is Manager of Talent Acquisition at Canadian Tire Corporation. And Ricardo Earle is Research Analyst Talent Acquisition at Hudson's Bay. So James, last year, what's it been like for you? What trends are you seeing on the recruiting front as we stand here, or as we sit here today, I guess in March of 2021?
Yeah, I can't believe it's already been a full year around coming around full circle. And as I kind of alluded to a little bit in my intro, because I specifically specialize within the real estate and construction industry, predominantly residential and commercial, it's been really interesting to see this industry adapt, because it's been, the construction industry as a whole, I think, is a very older type of industry that hasn't had to adapt to these new trends that COVID is almost forcing them into. And when I say that, I mean technology. So now what we're seeing is a lot of these hiring managers and all these hiring teams never had to manage remote teams, never had to even, get set up to work remotely. So when they're attracting talent, now the conversation is a lot more open, where before, when I had a lot of candidates saying, well, hey, is there an option working from home? And 99% of the time, the answer was no. Now that's a lot more open. And then I'm seeing it within these real estate construction developers, because they know they have to adapt to the times. And it's just accelerated that path exponentially. And it's just so fascinating to also see how quickly this real estate industry has grown during COVID. I have a number of clients who have doubled in size, especially on the residential real estate side of things, because of how hot the real estate market is right now. So they're still attracting talent. There's this time between them, it's probably similar to a lot of you as well. March and April are the hottest times for attracting talent, and the war for talent right now within the real estate construction industry is when a lot of those teams are doing their talent pipeline, they're doing the workforce planning in January, and then they're ramping it up and really going to market here in March and April. So we're actively busy, and I can't really say we've taken too much of a hit in terms of COVID, fortunately, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. It's just being able to adapt to the new technologies and almost teaching a lot of these different types of hiring managers of what a Zoom is and what Microsoft Teams is, and doing the interviews virtually, right?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks very much. That's great information, great perspective, Dina. What not just what's changed, obviously, because I think kind of everybody's in the same boat, but what challenges maybe are you having right now that you didn't have before?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks. Well, to echo what both Ricardo and James said, or I think James just highlighted it now, there's an absolute war on for talent. And so I think last year, almost a year ago, as you mentioned, when everything shut down, everyone sort of panicked. And I think that a lot of companies, including our own, sort of put the brakes on hiring or took some pause. And then things have accelerated. We've actually are having our busiest year in terms of a record number of positions being created, so net new and backfill. And the war on talent is really across the board, but in particular for us, it's digital talent, e-commerce talent, as well as cybersecurity talent. So these were issues that we had before, and then since the pandemic hit, our e-commerce business increased 400% overnight. And we're not the only, industry, being retail, we're not the only company impacted. And so this has just created a mass need for hiring. And some of the niche roles that we're looking for in terms of digital and cybersecurity don't really exist in Canada, or they're not very developed in Canada. So it's just sort of catapulted us into the future where we thought we would be in, say, 2 to 3 years' time. We're there now in terms of e-commerce strategy and digital. We're building out entirely new teams from scratch, bringing in executives internationally to support that. And so I think it is a war on talent for sure in that space.
And have you used other? Yeah, there you go. Have you looked at other provinces to find people for, say, Toronto? You mentioned international. Are they working remotely? Are you hiring them remotely to still work wherever they are, or how's that playing out for you?
Yeah, definitely. What the other two gentlemen said, we're geographically agnostic. Being a 100-year-old company that we are, although our workforce was set up from a corporate standpoint to work remotely, it was probably not as common in most teams. And so adapting to work online. And I think Ricardo hit the nail on the head earlier that it's really opened up talent. So we did previously recruit within Alberta because we do have an office there. We do have different offices in Ontario, not just centered at our head office at Yonge and Eglinton in Toronto. We do have an office in Quebec, but what it's done is allowed us to really recruit anywhere within Canada. So it's really helped us open up. There's, some tech hubs in Ottawa. There's Winnipeg. We do have a data center there, but it's really helped us attract better talent and hopefully retain as well.
Yeah, so more broader across than from the sounds of it, right? Okay, good. So open question to anybody on the panel, whoever wants to take it. Technology wise, I mean, everybody knows, Zoom and FaceTime and so on, but what other technological changes have you noticed, have you guys implemented that you might be comfortable sharing to people watching that has helped you get better talent, more visibility? Anything that has worked for you?
Well, I guess I'll answer. In regards to, we basically kind of increased, we kind of included some certain technologies in regards to applicational processes, because the ATS systems that we currently use, we've added certain programs in regards to preempted questions in regards to like knocking out candidates that might not be suitable for the roles, as well as, it's just that's something that I know, I know we're a recruiting panel, but for candidates to know in regards to understanding that when you do apply for a job, certain keywords might come out of your resume that might give you a score that might indicate on an actual ATS system if you're suitable for the role for a recruiter to contact you. So I know that we've implemented more of that type of technology, just because we don't want to waste time in regards to like what Dina is talking about in regards to the explosion in terms of roles being available now, that you can't just sit and go through the processes of it and taking months when you need to get things done within weeks. So so based on that, the type of technology that we're using now in regards to finding and suiting and filtering out more suitable candidates for us is basically what we've been doing lately. So can't disclose the technology we're using, but it's just the fact that it's better off to in regards to our view to know is that if we're going to find the right type of suitable candidates, we want to make sure that you're answering the right questions and directing us the right way to know that we can contact you, because we know that you're the right person for the role.
Right. James, when you're looking at resumes, what's the most important criteria when you're looking at a resume, when you're talking to a candidate? What do you feel is the most important right now?
Yeah, so when we do different types of approach. I'm sure you appreciate this as well. One is obviously intake, and we're getting a bunch of resumes, but also we're doing the headhunting approach and tapping people on the shoulder at their office. But to your point, when we do get that intake of resume, the three most important things we're looking at, because it is still very centralized and it has to be, a lot of the time the candidates have to be local here, because obviously they're building projects in the real estate construction industry, is going to be location. Is going to be probably pretty close to number one, because the reality is the construction industry, the Ontario building code is different from the Vancouver building code. So they have to know that, and they have to know the networks, they have to know the trades. Number two is their title. Are they from obviously does it fit in their job specs? Title is an interesting one for me, that it's very ambiguous, I think, across any industry. So I have to dig further in to actually see what that looks like. And then obviously just a relatable company, whether it's residential, commercial, and then actually a bonus on that we would love to see on there that would help any role that you're looking at is project lists. What are your specific projects that you worked on and dollar volumes that you've been able to work through A to Z? So I can get a sense of the volume, get a sense of the actual project you're working on, and then flipping back to your question about technology outside of Zoom and Microsoft Teams, because now I can't go to clients and see the office and see the culture when I'm kind of trying to share the job opportunity. I get the client to basically walk around the office with us on the Zoom. Say, hey, this is an office, and I can kind of help sell that and be an extension of their brand. But to Dina's point, and going on the war for talent, is finding access to candidates' cell phone numbers, because the reality is everybody's working from home now. So now when you pick up the phone, you call them at their desk, it actually gets rerouted to their cell phone. So the technology that we use is actually, we have access to one of the largest databases on the planet that gives them 90% of people, it gives them our cell phone number, their email addresses, so we can contact them directly to be able to get them on the phone as quickly as possible before they go off and get another job. Just last month, we had 2 candidates we extended an offer to, and they went somewhere else because we weren't able to act quick enough.
Yeah, definitely. Dina, you've had a pretty lengthy career in recruiting, 12 years or so, right? Where do you see your career going in terms of recruitment? Like, what maybe there's probably some younger recruiters who are new to recruitment, not younger, but new people who are new to recruitment. What advice would you give to them? I kind of blended a few questions in there, but go for it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I have a varied background. I come from the agency world. I got my first start in agency, as many recruiters do, kind of fell into it like most people do. It's not, when I thought of recruiting, 20 years ago, I would have said, oh, what do you mean recruiting for the Army? I didn't really know what recruitment meant. And I just kind of fell into it and had a great career at Altus Excel HR, or Altus Recruitment, I think they're called now. Still in touch with them. And I'd had sort of variations of my role and kind of grown with the company. And then I really wanted to get into corporate. I felt that I wanted to work for a large company with a strong employer brand. So although I did love agency, I did want to get into corporate recruitment, and it's really given me a nice, well-rounded background. And I think I'm a little bit biased towards agency because I do come from the agency world. When I'm hiring for my team, I love to see a blend of both agency and corporate, or if someone's coming straight from agency, I think that there's, for anyone on the call who has come from a recruitment firm or an agency, you can appreciate the hustle that goes with that. And I really think that gives you a nice foundation. So advice would be, take on as many, if you're working in agency, try to get exposure to so many different companies, and try to, continue to network, and be open to different industries, even if you know nothing about an industry, just to give it a try and see where you land. And then for corporate recruiters, I think, really, you're working internally for your client. My best advice is to treat them like a client. One thing I think that helped me in coming to Canadian Tire, a big part of my job early on was to help sort of revamp the team and build up the team and work on processes and best practices. And a lot of that had to do with the delivery of how we focused on our internal clients. And I think number one was actually just treating them like a client, probably because of my agency background. So although we all work for Canadian Tire, I very much know that I'm in service to the business. So I'm in service of what they need for hiring. So that would be my advice: is treat everyone like you would want to be treated, client, candidate, regardless, because it's all interchangeable. And yeah, I think that hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, very good. Yeah. We only have a few minutes left here. There you go, Dina. We only have a few minutes left here. So maybe we'll just go around and maybe take a minute and just, maybe share like a tip, like a takeaway, something that you've learned, something that you think you'd like to share with others who are watching, whatever it is, whether it's in your career, favorite interview question, a tip, whatever. So Ricardo, do you want to start and just anything that you want, or if you want to promote something, something going on, some positions that you're recruiting for, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. Well, pretty much, I just wanted just to go back what Deena was saying, that it's absolutely true in regards to treating your people, your hiring managers, such like clients, because basically it's just you're servicing them. So overall, all I could say is just keep an open mind in regards to recruiting candidates. It's always good to give anybody, even if they're having agency experience, having that, background, you can always mold to how you want them to be based on the fact they want an opportunity. I know currently we're, if you go on the HBC website and the career sites, you can see that we have numerous roles that are available from store level to corporate level. Just apply. I always say keep opportunities and your mind open in regards to any opportunities that come your way. Always keep yourself open, even in regards to your own employment, just to look to see, putting your foot in the water, because you never know. It never hurts to just, keep your options open, and especially in terms of the day and age that we live in, you never know when you just have to turn on a dime in regards to like your career and your path. So it's just to keep your mind open and never just stay on a normal trail, on a narrow trail, because you just never know. So just keep your opportunities open.
For sure, yeah. Great advice, James.
So 2 quick things I would recommend is, one, the biggest question that I like to ask right at the beginning of the process is in regards to references. This will help set the A players from the B players. And I learned this from top grading from, what's his name? Smart and Associates. And he said, when you're interviewing them, he says, a part of this process is that we're going to get you to coordinate references with your direct hiring managers, and we want you to do that. So when you ask that and they say, well, you're going to call my previous boss. Okay, so obviously red flags there we have to kind of work through. So when you ask that, because a reality is A players are going to elect to give those very quickly, very easily. Second is on the recruitment agency side, maybe perhaps even internal, setting deadlines. When you're running your desk, and in the recruitment agency side, there's no real deadlines. Like, hey, whoever gets to it quickly, fast enough, and building the urgency internally, but setting deadlines for yourself, saying, hey, I need 3-4 candidates to be submitted by this time. And lastly, another thing we do on the agency side is talent mapping. So when we're working with a specific candidate which we'd like to call as an MPC or an A talent, we work with them and say, okay, let's map out your top 20 companies you'd love to work for, and we go out and actively work with them to help them find a career.
Great. Good advice. And Dina, to wrap up?
Sure. So I was trying to think of something different to say other than treat your clients and candidates alike. But I would say, for us, and what I've spent a lot of time doing at Canadian Tire and coaching my team on, and some of the other recruitment teams as well, is really doing that proper intake. So if, our ability as recruitment professionals is to, understand what our clients' needs are. And whether you work in agency or you work corporate side, if you're not doing a proper intake and asking the right questions, or asking questions often enough to understand exactly what it is that you're looking for, then you can't really have a successful recruit. And I do encourage everyone, if you're not currently doing this in your own company, is to start an NPS survey. So it's something that we do, a Net Promoter Score, which is Net Promoter NPS is common in retail, but you don't even need an outside company. You could literally just survey your hiring managers using Microsoft Forms for free. But getting some of that anonymous feedback, I think, is really key. And we're looking at maybe doing it on the candidate side as well. So I think just, again, going back to, your ability to understand what your client or what your hiring manager is looking for so that you can deliver on that. That's so, so important. I just don't see that enough sometimes.
Well, thank you. It's really relevant in recruiting as well, right? Really good. Well, thanks to the three of you for all your great advice. I want to thank everybody for coming to the Canadian Virtual Recruiters Conference. I want to thank the panelists, James Adams, Chief Talent Officer at Adams Limitless. Deena Stevenson is Manager Talent Acquisition at Canadian Tire Corporation, and Ricardo Earle, Research Analyst Talent Acquisition at Hudson's Bay. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm President of TorontoJobs.ca. The event today has been presented by TorontoJobs.ca and powered by Event Logic with a K.ca. Let us know how you like the event. We'll send you a survey in the next 24 hours. Really easy to fill out. Gives us some information as to what we can do better. I want to thank all the speakers today, the panelists, everybody behind the scenes. There are a lot of people, including Jesse, Alex, Sandra, Sarah, Rachel, and Anne. I want to thank also eventlogic.ca. If there's an event that you'd like to have put together, by all means, visit eventlogic.ca. And if you are looking to staff for any positions, TorontoJobs.ca has a job board, and you can also reach our recruitment division at sales@TorontoJobs.ca as well. And if you'd like to have your organization and services highlighted, we have speaker, sponsor, and exhibitor options available for other events. Please reach out to eventlogic.ca. And I just want to share some of the upcoming virtual events that we do have that are in the chat, but I will post them again in here as well. So just check out the event chat right now. I'm just going to post a bunch. Tomorrow we have the tech hiring event. So if you're looking to hire for technology individuals, it's a great job fair that we've got set up that runs from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. On Monday, March 29th, I'll be moderating another recruiters panel, so you don't want to miss that. And then on Wednesday, March 31st, we have also the Canadian Virtual Career Conference, which is more of a general job fair as well. So check those events out. And I want to encourage you to visit all our Toronto Jobs social media as well, and our YouTube channels as well. We have lots of great stuff on there that you can join. And don't forget our LinkedIn group called Recruiters Unite in Toronto that you can join. So I'm just throwing them in the chat here. And we tack on another 10 minutes to the event just as a extra time. So if you want to go into the networking area, you want to hang out on the in the expo area and check out some products and services that might help you, by all means, don't hesitate. And look forward to connecting with you. If there's anything I can help you out with, feel free to connect with me through LinkedIn. And I wish everybody a safe and healthy 2021. And hopefully the vaccines will be rolled out, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to normal, hopefully within the next few months or so. We'll see, right? But anyways, thanks again for all of you, Ricardo, James, and Dina. And
thank you, Mark.
Great afternoon and all the best. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.